You're watching a non-stop coverage. Prime Minister Modi is in Nagpur. He started the day by visiting Smruti Mandir, paying tribute to Dr. Hedgewar. You can see in these pictures interacting with Dr. Mohan Bhagwat. Then he went to Deekshabhoomi, and I think 10 minutes from now or even earlier, the Prime Minister will be at the Madhav Netralaya to inaugurate another extension or extended wing of this facility. We have our guests with us, Dr. Ranganathan, Professor Rakesh Sinha, Ratan Sharda. Dr. Ranganathan, you've heard both of them patiently. What do you want to tell them?
No, first of all, Pranesh, it is an honor to be sharing the panel with these two stalwarts. And if I can't remember, I can't think of anyone who cherishes Professor Sinha's and Ratanji's remarks more than I do. But the fact also remains that there is absolutely no doubt no organization other than the RSS has worked more for the cause of Bharat, of Indians. Yes, RSS has made thousands of schools, hospitals. The kind of work that it did during COVID is unprecedented. It has worked for the benefit of India. There is no doubt about it. And nobody should be respected more than the RSS for doing it. That is why qualifying my statement as saying that the time has come, because this is an inflection point. RSS charter itself says it has to work for the cause of Hindus. I think along the way, it needs to draw this distinction. Working, saving Hindus is also saving India. Because you need to remove discrimination. I do value Ratanji saying that have patience, but how much time do we need? It is a point where RSS has to tell, the working dispensation, look, yes, work for India, do welfare for everyone. All the schools that RSS has made, hospitals made, Muslims also get, admission. Muslims also are treated. Christians also are treated. It is working for India. But the discrimination against Hindus, every time you say we need more time for the temples to come under Hindu controls, thousands of Hindus are leaving the fold of Hinduism, going to other religions that are promising them freebies like free hospital, school admissions that Hindu temples cannot, because their money is being used by the government. Thousands of Hindus are not able to go to the land which is there in Kashmir. 700,000 Hindus are refugees in their own land. You have thousands of Hindu schools being shut down because the government is implementing this draconian conjunction of 93rd Amendment with the RTE, putting the obligation of having reservations for economically weaker section only at Hindu schools. How much time do you need? So all I request is that the RSS functionaries and the illuminaries whom I really respect on this panel tell Prime Minister Modi, every time you want more weeks, more months, please remember a Hindu school is being shut down. Please remember that a Hindu temple is being shut down. Please remember that a Hindu is leaving the fold of Hinduism, going to Christianity and Islam because their family was not promised schools and education that churches and mosques were promising them. The time is to be judged by how many Hindus are suffering, not by our inaction. That is all I'm trying to say.
Okay, both of them want to respond to you, the hands up, but, I just want to take a moment. Professor Sinha, just 1 minute. We are now getting pictures of the Prime Minister inside the Madhav Netralaya, Chief Minister Fadnavis also with him. Ratan Sharda ji, before you respond to, the larger conversation, if you could, for the benefit of viewers, sir, just underline, the working and the facility at the Madhav Netralaya.
Well, Pranesh, honestly, I have not visited it yet, but I know how the medical facilities of RSS work and how well they are maintained, how professionally they are managed. And this is done at a very low cost, sacrificing the doctors' own salaries, sacrificing their own profits, and working on a system where every poor as a poor can use the facilities. That is how it is run. The quality of the hospitals are not compromised. Healthcare is not compromised. At the same time, there is a primary healthcare people working under Ekar Vidyalaya who take care of Vanvasi people whom they can give primary support, and then if not done, they can take them to other hospitals in ambulance in the districts. So that is how the model works. In most of the cases, government funds are not used. Most of the cases, no government support is sought. In fact, for the Vanvasi Kalyanashram, when Morarji Desai went for a program, he asked the Satsang Chalak at that time, Balasaheb Devras, would you want any support from the government? He said, no. With all due respect, we don't need money, we just need men, and we will manage our own system. Let the society create funds and support the projects as part of their own responsibility. That is how I will put it. And when you go there, you'll find this is true of every primary health to larger centers. And if you go to the rural areas, you'll not find these kind of health facilities naturally, but where people work with shoestring budgets and still support them and try to see that, far off people also get support. Now, coming to Anand Ranganathan, Anandji, to come to this stage, it has taken 100 years of RSS work. Imagine the level of Hindu society's consciousness that now after 2014, there are many people who understood the significance, like you also, who openly acknowledged that he was not aware of these things. To come to that level, it has taken 100 years. That is the difficulty of Hindu society, forgetting his past, kind of mental forgetfulness, colonialized mind. I'll give one example. In one of the debates in Times Now itself, 2 days back, there are some Congress people abusing Hinduism very badly. As the debate, generally the voting is 80 for Hindu cause and 20% on that day, when the question was whether Congress is polarizing people with these kind of statements, only 53% said yes. That is how amnesia has struck us. So when you take very radical steps, many of these people will step back and tell you that. Now look at the record of RSS. Kashmiri Hindus, only people who work for Kashmiri Hindus or RSS. Right from the day it happened, much before that also. And in case of, you have forgotten VHP and Bajrang Dal, they have faced the wrath of governments of various people, including very elite kind of thinkers who believe it's a goons organization. When they talk about Hindu protection, that is the area where RSS given this to VK and party and if you look at VHP and Bajrang Dal, look at Birmasi Kalyan Ashram, the maximum number of Ghar Wapsi that you see, which was thought of by Guruji way back in 1955, is being done there. That is the reason they face the wrath of church and extremist people, because they are doing the Ghar Wapsi. If you remember partition, where scores of Hindus were saved and RSS people lost their lives, Ekal Vidyalaya, which works in the deepest areas, to work in a way that it also impacts the conversion issue, and the conversion we stopped and Ghar Wapsi being done silently with the support of the local people, educating them, also creating awareness. Even in Northeast, it was stalled by improving the job of indigenous faiths by making them aware of their own ideas. That is the reason why even Christians today come to their own festivals which they boycotted earlier. So there are a lot of things that are happening. But I just wanted to bring out the issue that for 100 years to reach this stage where everybody very happily says, I'm a Hindu, feels proud of being Hindu. Now the next step, as you rightly said, there needs to be speed. And we always feel that speed is required. But it's very easy for a small organization to have that speed, individuals have the speed, but not a massive organization like RSS. In fact, a person in the US told me, a Native American, saying that if you want to go fast, you walk alone. If you want to go far, you take people along. So taking people along, Anandji, is very tough, very difficult. I have seen the transition from ridicule, from jokes or half pant, our work in the society, and the kind of isolation Hindus felt to spoke up, like Rakesh also pointed out, especially in intellectual field. And today we have come to the stage that people like you are sought. That is the awareness that has happened. So next steps will be faster. But yes, if you want to carry everybody along, RSS is the only way that I have seen. But of course, you must keep on goading us to do something better.
Okay, if it helps, sir, we can have Dr. Ranganathan and others keep pushing you and Professor Sinha. But sir, you were, do you want to add to what Ratan Sharda said about the larger mission or the vision, actually, not mission, the vision of RSS?
The RSS does not open a school or hospital just for the sake of welfare. This is one of the dimensions. Every work is motivated by our ideological perspective. Without ideology, you don't take even sleep and wake up. Everything is based on ideology. Second important thing is that we are optimistic for transformation. You know, political transformation is very visible. Social and cultural transformation is not such visibility. Its visibility is very low, but it takes place. That's why there is a one phrase in the RSS, organization for the sake of organization. Becoming the organization means mental, moral power of the Hindus on the one hand and physical unity on the other hand. This is the biggest challenge before the RSS. 70 crores Muslims, 2 crores Christians. There is a dialogue between them and us is not based on binary. We don't produce otherings. That has to Muslims and Christians have to understand. And I think that the forces of transformation through the RSS will make an impact. We don't want to create a binary such that there should be a Hindu nation and Muslim nation in the country. They should understand the meaning of the Hindu nation. That Hindu nation, I told earlier, an adjective. Adjective is out of the Vedas, Upanishad, Smriti, Puran, means our intellectual and philosophical legacy which had given India the intellectual preeminence in the world. They have to be part of that. Other thing is that there are certain misconceptions of Hindu intellectuals also. By pessimism, you create some kind of minority psychology among the majority community. Dr. Hedgewar was against this. Once there was a communal riots in Nagpur and people approached him that RSS should come, he said, no, not at all. RSS is not a Hindu army for the Hindus. RSS is an agent of creating consciousness among the Hindus. Be prepared for your safeguard. Be prepared for your national welfare. So RSS is not within the organized, it is a part of society, not within the Hindus. It is an integral part of society. So its transformative process has two important things. One, that geocultural nationalism should be accepted and it should be dialogue, discourse and constant and consistent process which RSS has been working. Secondly, 100 years it existed not in vain. It's not only that it expanded. Its expansion has very important meaning that first time Hindus have been realizing. And in intellectual sphere, there were a paucity of intellectuals who used to work on Savarkar, RSS, Hindutva. Now you find that Anand is one of the examples that there are independent intellectuals who are working on Hindutva without any support of any organization or without any patronage of the organization. This is a good sign in the intellectual field. Third aspect of the RSS is that it is trying to go beyond the nation. That's why RSS work in different nations. We are not working among the Hindus of Kenya, America or London to create an extra constitutional force there. We want that there should be a good citizen of America, good citizen of Kenya, but the Hindu thought, which has the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So RSS also has a civilizational perspective. We are not merely a nationalistic organization. It is a transitory term used for ourselves to get the people to understand.
Now, Dr. Ranganathan, there are many takeaways from what we've heard from Ratan Sharda and Professor Sinha. But personally for you, and forgive me for saying this, he's at least declared that you are an independent academic, you often get labeled Sangi, pata nahi kya kya, as you know. So this is coming from someone who's, part of the Sun.
No,
but jokes apart.
Jokes apart, as I said, I mean, I value immensely the words of both Professor Sinha and Ratanji, and they know that as well. Be that as it may, and they're right in whatever they've said, they're right. But the fact remains, and I'm sorry to keep on harping on this fact, that we can talk ad nauseum about the wonderful things indeed that RSS has done, that indeed Modi has done. But on the ground, if this broadcast is reaching, Pranesh, through you, I want to ask that Hindu whose school was shut down because only he was obligated to give reservations and Muslims were not, Christians were not. Is that right? No, it isn't. I want this broadcast to reach that Hindu who for 33 years has been exiled from his own home and in a so-called Hindu Rashtra has not been able to go to his own home. Is that right? No, it isn't. I want to talk to that Hindu through your broadcast who cannot even approach the courts to ask, my lords, can my demolished temple be reclaimed? Is that right? No, it isn't. I want to talk to that Hindu through your broadcast whose land has been usurped through the Waqf Act, where no such act is there for Hindus, but it is there for Muslims. So, yes, RSS is important. The wonderful voice of these two gentlemen out here who are my family are important. But at the end of the day, are we thinking of those tens of thousands of Hindus whose schools are being shut down, who are being converted, whose temples are under control? That is the fact. How much time do you think they should be given? Do we have it in us to tell them in our hubris कि थोड़ा और wait कर लो, कितने साल और wait करना है? This is what I want to know, with respect.
Oh, we'll continue to have this conversation, but every time the phrase Hindu Rashtra comes, I fear the backlash. People will say, nobody will understand the context in which you said it. वो बोलेंगे so-called Hindu Rashtra. Ratan Sharda said Hindu Rashtra. Look, they are dragging the country and they want to label India and Bharat as Hindu Rashtra. And the political ramifications of created by the ecosystem. But having said that, the important points that you raised about the timeline, I don't think, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that we can't put a timeline to the questions that you have. Put a year like by 2047, India will be Viksit Bharat, but by 2047, can we achieve the things that you said? I don't know, but we're taking a break. Sir, एक छोटा break लेने दीजिए, उसके बाद आप जवाब दीजिए. We'll continue to discuss this and much more. The Prime Minister is on the stage at the Madhav Netralaya, set to inaugurate the new premium wing. Also likely to speak. The message will be important, viewers. Short break. Stay with Times Now.
30 seconds.
Sir, आ रहा हूँ. 30 seconds तो वो उनका line है, but रतन शारदा जी कुछ कह रहे हैं. Then I'm coming to you.
नहीं, इसका मजा क्या है कि इसका बाद में 30 सेकंड ऐड होते हैं, बोनस पॉइंट्स.
बोलिए सर. रतन जी, वो टाइमलाइन. जी,
today RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hasole ji has written an article which is on the RSS website. Very important thing he started. He started the 100 years is not to celebrate, but to introspect and to rededicate. This is the first organization, because 100 years is a very landmark for any organization in the history of organization. Without any division, without any rebellion, with the same motive, in the same way that what RSS call a Karya Paddhati, it has been working. Here we are not celebrating, जिसको कहते हैं जश्न मनाना. We are rededicating ourselves, means more vigorously we have to work, because our challenges are more which we faced in the past. Because it is easier to face the external challenges, but it is very difficult to resolve the challenges which are emanating from within the society. So here RSS faces challenge. That's why this article is very important. Second important, the fundamental problems of the Hindu society. It is not that we are the first people who are thinking. Dr. UN Mukherjee, Colonel UN Mukherjee wrote a dying race in 1909. He wrote in 1909. Then there's a self-abnegation in politics by Lala Lalchand in Punjab. He wrote in same decade, in first decade of the 20th century. So they have deliberated. RSS has collectivized the problem. RSS has collectivized the idealism. So this collectivization is a reason that Nehruvian perspective, which was imposed on the state, and it was de-Hinduized. India was de-Hinduized. There is a difference between Nehru age and the Modi era is very fundamental.
No, sir, but Professor Sinha, if every time you say that, Nehruvian idea of development was this, it was de-Hinduized, Dr. Ranganathan and many would ask you a question that now that you have your own government and you're doing things to correct the wrongs of the past, how long will it take for the Hindu suffering to end? And you can begin by answering the first question about the removing state control from Hindu temples. That's not too much an ask, is it?
There was a very important debate in Parliament in 1954. This is very important, everyone should read. When the first time Muslim Waqf bill was discussed, then the people like Pataskar and others raised a very important point. That point was that why not there should be a bill on the pattern of the already that existed Mumbai Charitable Trust Act, which dealt with all the religions. Donations of our religions. You are dividing even altruism and donations. We are one nation and one people. And the question didn't come from the BJP people. Bharatiya Janata Sabha was not there in the Rajya Sabha that time. It came from the Congress and other people. One of the members said that you are doing a fraud. We are doing the fraud by bringing this bill. This was the debate. So I think that it is a larger question that Hindu donations are used for the common purpose and Muslim and Christian donations are used for the conversion and the very petty things.
That has to be, sir, the donation has to be voluntary. What is going on in name of donation is loot. I mean, you can't call it donation. I get the larger point you're making. But this is not donation, sir. When people donate at the temple, the state, the government should have no control or say in managing that money. Let people or the temple then donate to the government. But we'll have to take a short break. I'm sorry, these are compulsions. Can't do anything about it. Taking a quick break. Please stay with us.